Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
Remember, the quiet ones always have the darkest secrets. It's time to uncover them on Hidden Killers with Tony Busby, featuring former prosecutor and defense attorney Eric Faddis.
Diddy and Jay Z, two names that have been making the news quite prominently the last few weeks, with accusations flying now against both of them. Of course, Diddy in that federal investigation and multiple civil suits. Jay Z named in a civil suit brought on by Tony Busby, claiming that Jay Z back in 2000 participated in the rape of a 13-year-old along with Diddy. These are the allegations. Of course, Jay Z and both Diddy denying all of it. Jay Z putting out a very scathing letter, calling it a blackmail attempt, and also talking about how he's going to have to talk to his daughters about this and how damaging an accusation like this can be. And of course, denying all of it. Joining me to discuss, Eric Faddis, defense attorney, former prosecutor. Let's talk about this. Jay Z calling it a blackmail attempt. Tony Busby saying it was a demand letter, very standard. Why don't you give us some insight into that from the legal front?
Yeah, so in terms of what's going on, of course, it depends on who you ask. But in looking at it, blackmail, extortion, those kind of things, they usually require some threat and some unlawful act. Like if you don't give me money, I'm going to break your kneecap, something like that. Here, as you said, this was the plaintiff's attorney sending a demand letter requesting a mediation. Jay-Z can characterize it however they want, but it's a pretty common practice in the personal injury world and nothing overly problematic, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like. I mean, it very much, I wasn't shocked that this went out. I mean, essentially the dynamics of a demand letter in this case seemed to be, give us a not necessarily money. It was more have some sort of a consultation, you said?
Yeah, exactly. A mediation is what was requested. Now, from a mediation, usually there's a request for a settlement, but the specific request in the letter was mediation. Mediation.
Obviously, if this is a civil event, I don't think anybody would have been going into it going, just say you're sorry. So there probably was going to be some sort of monetary demand, but he never went that far. Obviously, this can be very, very damaging to one's reputation and such. But Jay Z coming out saying this is all BS, I'm going to expose you for doing this. Is this a wise move? I mean, obviously, it probably depends if he's guilty of these crimes or not. But let's say he's not. Let's say he did nothing of the sort. Is this still a wise move? A lot of people, even in these situations, they truly had nothing to do with things. They will settle to avoid the scrutiny.
Oh, right. I'm in favor of Jay-Z's move here. And I think it's something that Diddy didn't do in the early, hours of his legal saga that went on. And what happened is we saw, the social narrative became controlled by the government and by the plaintiff's attorneys, the accusers in Diddy's case. And he didn't really get a chance to have a say until it was too late. And now people are sort of mocking his measures in doing that. I think Jay-Z is right to try to get out in front of this and try to control the narrative on his end.
How is something like this, or how do you expect something like this to play out now? Obviously, this is civil, it's not criminal, but a lot of people are looking at this with eyebrows raised. I mean, there's been rumblings for years about Jay-Z, just rumors. I mean, just as there is with so many big name celebrities. But that's just what they have been, rumors. We haven't seen a lot of, at least publicly, we are unaware of other accusations or settlements involving Jay-Z in the past. Where do you think this goes from here?
This is, it'll be interesting to watch because, it's a claim from 2000, so 24 years ago.
Yes.
And people's memories over time fade, and it's unclear what evidence was actually secured at the time, probably nothing. And what evidence is going to back up the accuser's testimony. Now, her testimony is going to be evidence. There are going to be depositions. There are going to be requests for production of materials and information. That's all standard in a civil case. But are they going to be able to drug drum up really the ammunition the plaintiff needs in order to prove this against Jay Z, or will it remain kind of a he said, she said thing?
I mean, if you were the attorney representing the plaintiff in this, how confident would you feel in this case going forward that you're going to get anything for this? And what kind of liabilities is Tony Busby taking on by going forward and making these claims and putting his name out there?
I would have some concerns about the provability of the case. And look, if the defendants were not Diddy and Jay Z, would this case have even be brought? I'm not so sure it would. Just a regular person saying, hey, 24 years ago, this person sexually assaulted me. Well, prove it, Yeah. But I think that the plaintiffs in this case thought, oh, we got Diddy and Jay Z. They don't want their, high profile names to be smeared. And so they're going to pay us something. Well, lo and behold, they didn't pay something. And so now we've got to see kind of how this plays out. Tony Busby has some risk on his end. He's got to verify before he files a civil lawsuit that there is support and a good faith belief that these allegations are credible. Is that just talking with his client and taking what they said at face value? I'm not sure that's enough.
I mean, what is the bar for that to make sure that you're going in on good faith? Is there a bar for it? Or is it just kind of like, well, I'm going to take a bet here and hope that what I do have pans out. And if it doesn't, well, I would think there'd be some liability of putting someone's name out there like Jay Z in this, because there's going to be irreputable damage regardless of how this turns out. Is there liability where Busby could face a legal backlash just for doing that if it's deemed that he didn't have enough to bring this?
I think technically having his client's statement and doing their best to investigate it and say, hey, this looks pretty good. That's probably going to be enough for Busby to avoid any ethical issues. Mm-hmm. But the legal issues are what could be problematic. If it comes out that this statement was fabricated or inaccurate, just certainly Jay Z and Diddy and those teams are going to go after Busby, not only the plaintiff, but Busby, probably the attorney, for defamation, for stating something falsely that injured the defendant's reputation. And that could be to the tune of millions upon millions of dollars. So it's high stakes on both sides.
Is this something that could take out Busby as an attorney if he were to be sued, or is there insurance for this sort of thing that would, cover him for, errors and omissions or whatever it may be classified as?
So usually any responsible attorney has malpractice insurance. Of course we do. But the coverage on that is usually low seven figures, like 1 million or 2 million, something like that. If Busby were to be sued for defamation by Jay Z and lose, Jay Z is probably going to say, "Hey, I lost $100 million on this. I don't have these partnerships anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have this ongoing livelihood." Could that bankrupt Busby if Jay Z won in a subsequent defamation suit? Absolutely. And Jay Z has got the PR team and ammunition to really make Busby look like a fool if they want to.
Yeah, it's a risky game, without a doubt, to be in this sort of a situation. Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
You're in the thick of a true crime saga, every detail sinking in, and then, wham, a commercial about something you couldn't care less about. It's like being served a microwaved dinner at a 5-star restaurant. But it doesn't have to be this way. Go for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. With True Crime Today Premium Plus, you get uninterrupted, ad-free episodes, extended interviews that dig even deeper into the muck, and early access so you can brag to your friends. It's like ordering the secret menu at a crime buffet. So, search for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, and savor every twisted detail without interruption.